I talk a lot about the gut-brain axis and why, a lot of depression, anxiety, et cetera, can really be exacerbated by poor gut health. And so, recognizing that there's this interrelationship between being in a fasted state and upregulation of, key reparative processes that go on in the gut, including if you fast long enough, some stem cell activation. That's another piece of it. But I think the more I understand about the brain and the hippocampus and learning centers and other things, our brains are just really not designed to live our kind of hedonistic, insulin resistant environment that we're in. So this is why I think fasting is probably one of the most critically important components of not just healthy aging, but just healthy living. And, when I was connecting with Dr. Perlmutter, I was saying the other day, it was such an incredible opportunity. He was talking about new and emerging research, talking about how our brain and our body can actually make fructose in response to inactivation or upregulation of a key enzyme. And so it really just continues to play upon this narrative of, brain health and insulin sensitivity are so closely aligned. And one of the really easier ways to ensure that we keep our brains as healthy as possible is to really be integrating fasting into our lifestyles. For some people, that might be 2 weeks out of the month. For some people, that might be 3 weeks out of the month. If you're menopausal, you can probably do it more often, but really speaks to the fact that fasting is without a doubt critically important for cognitive neurobehavioral function. And, I'd be interested to hear, what your experiences have been like. I know that as one example, a woman I was talking to before our call today was saying that, she had her depression medication lowered. And she was finally at a point where, she had significant major depression, significant meaning that she was crying every day and just really needed the medication, but that she had finally gotten to a point where she felt healthy enough to start talk about reducing her medication in conjunction with her psychiatrist. I would never advocate anyone stop their antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications without close connection with your healthcare professional. But to me, that gives me hope. It tells me that there's a whole lot more that's going on behind the scenes than maybe perhaps we even realized. I'm not a neuroscientist. I definitely, based on what I've read, I definitely feel like very affirmed that this is such a healthy opportunity for us to honor our bodies.
Yeah. There's so many different ways I see fasting playing out on brain health. The ones you just talked about bringing, sugar levels down, which is ketones are so healing. And when ketones go up, GABA goes up. And so GABA is your calming neurotransmitter. So I see it really work for anxiety. The only challenge with anxiety is that, to your point, you've got to become fat adapted if you're going to use fasting as a tool for anxiety, because you got to get into that comfortable place when the ketones are coming, is what I call it. I always tell my brain, ketones are coming, that you can actually, ease into that moment as opposed to when am I going to eat food? Cognition, it's crazy what fasting can do for cognition. I've seen some research on resetting dopamine receptor sites. If you go 48 hours of fasting, you can reset your whole dopamine pathways. So I think is an amazing tool, to your point and Perlmutter's point. And it's not like 1 month of intermittent fasting is going to do that for you. That it's the continual habit of building a fasting lifestyle that is going to over time change your mental health. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, no. I think it's a long game. I think
it's a long game.
You have those short game benefits. You'll get that mental clarity. And I love that you brought up GABA. I always say GABA is such an amazing neurotransmitter in the body, one that's grossly underappreciated.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's like progesterone, GABA and progesterone. Yeah. We need to go to a party where they hang out.
Yes. Very mellow. And it's interesting. I was just reading the other day about the dopamine fast, where people are in an effort to kind of upregulate their dopamine. They are having a fast from social media and a fast from electronics, and how that is allowing for, according to this research I read, it's allowing for this upregulation in dopamine receptors that get kind of blunted because we're constantly, think about it, social media is the perfect dopaminergic kind of overwhelm where we're just constantly getting these hits of likes and this and that. And so I think that it brings up another really good point, that we want to find balance with our social media use in conjunction with, whether we decide to do a fast just for those purposes, or if we do it in conjunction with combined technology fast along with the actual food fast, and seeing how that works. But I would imagine for a lot of people, it'd probably be harder to go without the electronics. That's my guess.
But what if you stack them together? That's a great idea. I love it.